What's up? What's up? What's up, world? You are in tune to Marvelous Talk with your partners, your main man, Dane. What's up, Dane?
What's going on, man? It's a great day. 3 more days. 3 more days. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all true Marvel fans.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And we got Big G, our comic connoisseur. What's up, Big G?
What's up to the Marvelous Talk? I'm about done itching and scratching and fiending. It's time to grit it pop it come Wednesday.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man. Yeah, man. Listen, as always, we're about to get into some great Marvelous Talk with you and yours. If you like what you're hearing, please do us a favor. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Definitely you're watching us stream here live on Facebook. You have questions, make sure you hit us up because we will definitely answer those questions for you and yours, man. And jumping right into it, man. Jumping right into it. We just gonna hop into some news right now that I thought was super, super duper interesting. We've had this development. Issa Rae is gonna play Spider-Woman.
What?
And this Issa Rae is gonna play Spider-Woman and is new into the SpiderVerse with Miles Morales. And definitely, if you don't know about this version of Jessica Drew, because that's who she's gonna be playing. This version of Jessica Drew. Jessica Drew as Spider-Woman is, one of my brother's Big G's favorite characters. She definitely has ties to Hydra. She has a pheromone that makes you super attracted to her. She has no webs, but all of the powers of Spider-Man. So definitely she is going to be an awesome character to go alongside of Miles Morales. I think I love it. And, one of the things that made this hire so interesting to me is Kia Lemon, who was the sound music production specialist of the last Into the Spider-Verse, right? And he created a bop. That whole album, that whole project.
It was nice.
You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't. Yeah.
He also worked with Lisa on her show Insecure on HBO. So definitely they have this working relationship and kinsmanship. And I wonder if she's going to contribute to this soundtrack. What do you guys think about this hire, man? And what do you think about Issa Rae being a part of the MCU?
I think it's a good look. I mean, definitely. She has the wit. She has the charm. So yeah, I think it's a good look, man. I expect that this next Spider-Verse movie, which we know animated, which won an Oscar. Those that might not remember, it won Best Animated Film when it came out that year. I just expect it just to be more of a continuation of what they did and the quality and everything, man. So I think it's a good look, definitely.
Yeah, I agree with you, bro. I agree that, it is one of those things that it's going to be awesome. And Big G, what do you think, man?
Man, I was hyped when I heard about it, man. Because, I'm going to be honest. I was sort of upset because I was like, why not just cast her as Jessica Drew in the MCU? Why stop playing around with it? Because body type, prototype, character, and all whatever else, she could pull it off. But to get her in this role for Into the Spider-Verse and playing Jessica Drew, it's perfect fit. I hope she just carries over, man. I hope they realize what they need to do.
I mean, let's think about this, G. You don't see that at some way, man, you don't think in some way that with all of the things and the moving pieces that we have going with Spider-Man, you don't think that at some point they may go ahead and make this Miles Morales a live just action film?
Yeah, they have to. I mean, they're gonna have to bring Miles Morales into the Spider-Man universe. First of all, it's the only character that the MCU owns in totality as far as the Spider-Man. All the Peter Parker rendition is a split sale. Sony owns part of it. Marvel, Kevin Feige, and Disney own part of it. So eventually they're going to have to build the Miles Morales character anyway. But for the comic book heads that really know and understand, Jessica Drew and Spider-Woman was the first Marvel comic television show that was ever broadcasted on TV. Spider-Woman, if you go back and watch on Disney, then they put the timeline together and they show you the first live rendition comic book was Jessica Drew's Spider-Woman. That's why she's one of my favorite characters, because if you go back and watch those old comic cartoons, man, they did a perfect job. And that was way before the Thor and Spider-Man and his amazing friends and all whatever else. She was way back, man. And
I'm going to tell you,
point.
Spider-Man and his amazing friends is one of my favorite, man. I'm telling you. Yeah. I used to love it. That's where I actually fell in love with the Iceman character. The character. Character. I fell in love with Iceman, the actual character. Okay? That's straight. But yeah, no, I mean, definitely that's right up there with the X-Men series that you saw on Saturdays, which almost had me born again, you know. Almost took me to church every weekend. You know what I'm saying?
That thing is probably one of the longest running animated Marvel cartoon series I think that they had up until I think when they started doing the more recent Avengers one. Yeah, but that X-Men, man, people was mad. That's one series when it ended, people was mad. Yeah, people were hot because it was so good, man. It was real good.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, the thing of it is that I don't know. It was a perfect storm, right? It was a perfect storm because it was around during the days where, and I still say that they need to, if y'all are listening to Marvelous Talk, anybody out there, you need to recreate $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman. Y'all need to recreate them. But it was right around the time where we had those type shows, and it was giving us the superheroes in a way in which we can understand them. And I think that's when we gained the most fans in the X-Men world and the Marvel world. And that's where a lot of us got our our taste for the Marvel universe. I believe that's where I got mine. So, definitely, I think a lot of us got that whole thing during that time. And that's where DC started losing, because, DC started losing because when the Super Friends was there, they started making the Super Friends more like Scooby-Doo. And it was like one of them things, we didn't want our superheroes like Scooby-Doo. We wanted, some edge to them, the Gambit and the Rogues and definitely even Jubilee with all of her, firework power. But still in all, you know what I'm saying? We were still happy to get Jubilee and Rogue and all of them. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Jessica Drew, but I'm just telling y'all, if they ever put her in the live action MCU, they can explain so much stuff, man. So just to give y'all a tidbit, I ain't gonna do no rabbit hole, but I'm just gonna tell y'all a little something, right? Jessica Drew's daddy was the mad scientist that was the partner to the actual High Evolutionary before he became the High Evolutionary. Jessica Drew grew up in Wundagore. Before Wundagore became the place where they started mixing and breeding people with animals and stuff like that. And also, Jessica Drew's Wundagore, where she grew up, was the same place that Wanda and Pietro Maximoff grew up, because they grew up in Wundagore and was raised by that cow that the High Evolutionary created. So that's why I think that they're going to have to eventually tie Jessica Drew into the MCU, because how much she ties into the whole thing. She was exposed to uranium. She had to take that formula. It was a healing factor that helped her heal and become Spider-Woman that we know. And that's who she is. So that's just me. That, but I ain't gonna go deep. I ain't gonna parachute into the rabbit hole today, y'all.
Well, I'm just saying, I like the ties to. I definitely like the ties to Hydra. Those ties to Hydra, and definitely when we're establishing we're establishing the fact that we're getting the anti-hero in Marvel. Yeah, I think this will be really good.
Yeah.
Man, the next thing we got was big. First and foremost, let's talk Tom Holland and his trolling, man. I mean, listen, man, Tom Holland gonna fool around and not have a job, because this brother's out here trolling everybody. On his birthday, he hinted that you would get some Spider-Man content, and we didn't. you know. But you know, of course, he started out doing stuff like this. Check this out. This is the guy. This is who we fooling with. Tom Holland. You know what I'm saying? He loves to do things. I think he's taking pages out of Paul Bettany's book, right? He's taking pages out of Paul Bettany's book, and he's becoming the world's greatest troll. What did you guys think about what Tom Holland said and what he did this weekend for his birthday?
He's a nut. He's a nut. I mean, he's hamming it up. I mean, he knows what to do, man. He's been around the block. Yeah, I was telling Lamar, Big G, before we got on the air, it got him in trouble almost the first time. So he's learned how to edge around it without actually, you know, landing on the you know, making it a controversy. So I just think it's funny, man. He that's what you do nowadays, is that you work that social media and you can entice the people. You entice the people. He's a young man. So he knows the game, man. And so, yeah, I think once again, he's just a big nut, man. So, if it be us on the set, we'd probably be doing the same thing. So,
yeah, sure.
What you think, Big G?
Man, listen, I think Tom Holland's trying to get fired by Sony, man. I think Tom Holland wants Sony to fire him so Kevin Feige can hire him. I mean, that's just because he does stuff that's just, I don't understand why you doing what you're doing, man. You know that if you release anything from MCU before Kevin Feige give you the green light, you know you're done. You know, stick a fork in you, it's all over with. But, you know, I call him a habitual line stepper. He's going to step up to that line every single time and see how far he can actually go with this thing. And he just, but like I said, I just think he wants to be fired, man. I think he's tired of dealing with Sony and all the BS. He's like, look, I just recreate me, kill me and then recreate me, but fire me first. That's just my take on it, man.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you something. Shout out to our listener, Sean Rivers. What's up, man? I'm gonna tell you, realistically, when it comes down to it, man, I don't understand it. But like Dame said, he young, and to be young and just young and have fun on the set. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. You got cameras around, you got costumes around. I mean, why not? Why not have fun? And see how close to the line you can get without actually losing your job.
Yeah,
man,
for sure.
But you know what? It might be a good thing if Sony cans him because, then he'll belong totally to the Marvel universe.
But I think they've had this conversation with him and on what to do and what not to do. So that's why I say I think he walks that fine, like G said, he a habitual line stepper. He knows how close to get to that line. Because I'm sure after that first movie, when his mouth started moving a little too much, I'm sure that they've educated him on what to do to stay in the proper motivation.
I think he kind of looking over the line like this, man. He's standing that close to where he's kind of looking over the cliff like this, like literally he plays with it a lot. But that brings us to our next thing, man. Woo, the plot leaks. We've had 2 plot leaks, of which I think one is the most plausible. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the first one. We'll allow G to kind of tell us the differences between this first one and that second one. But spoilers ahead, so if you don't want to hear anything about the movie or anything that might be in the movie, I suggest you get off board right here because, we're definitely going to talk about it and explore it and just get into the world. So the plot leak is that, of course, we know at the end of the last movie, of the end of the last Spider-Man, which Dane, what was the name of the last Spider-Man?
Far From Home.
Far From Home. So at the end of the last Far From Home, we got a scene where finally he gets to take his girl around web shooting with him. He sets his girl down and he looks up and voila, the whole world finds out that Spider-Man is actually Peter Parker. All right. So around that theme, you have the plot leak begins when you have Peter Parker going to Doctor Strange trying to get Doctor Strange to erase the minds of the people so that they won't remember that he's Spider-Man. And as Doctor Strange begins to start doing this whole thing, guess what? Peter remembers, okay, hold up. I don't want Mary Jane to forget. I don't want my best friend to forget. And I don't want Aunt May or Happy to forget. So as he's doing this, and trying to stop, it creates a rift in the universe. And, Norman Osborn, who we know is the Green Goblin, finds a way to come into this universe from a parallel universe and starts the Sinister Six, which is why you have Electro, which is why you have Doc Ock, who died in the last Spider-Man on the Sony side. He died, right? Yeah. And we know that we have these two characters because Jamie Foxx he's confirmed as an artist, and Alfred Molina is confirmed as an artist. Alfred Molina went as far to say that they're going to computer age his face so that he'll look just like the character that we saw last on screen with Spider-Man as Dr. Octopus. So in this process, that's how you're going to get this parallel universe. Now, we had the leak from Sony in Mexico that also spoke about 3 different Spider-Mans. You don't have to pick, you don't have to choose. That's on the internet. You can find it. It's there. And it's saying you don't have to choose which Spider-Man that you like. You don't have to choose because all 3 of them are here. So they pulled that down real quick. That got copyright struck real quick. Yeah. And we don't have a, go ahead.
No, I said, yeah, I'm agreeing. I see it. So it was gone.
Yeah, it got struck real quick. That's the power of the internet, y'all. When you have a big conglomerate, a big company like Disney and Sony working together, they can get anything wiped. You know what I'm saying? So definitely is no remnants, no traces. That's gone. You can find it on certain places, but that's because they screen captured it and they're re-showing it. But that's the plot leak. That's basically how it's going to go. We do know that Daredevil's character, not in the suit, Matt Murdock, is actually going to be there as a lawyer for Spider-Man. So, this is a interesting plot leak here, man. What do you think so far of that plot leak, Dame? How do you feel about that being the actual plot for the movie?
Well, I think it makes, like, from just a perspective of where we saw the last movie, it makes a lot of sense. The reason for me, and once again, me and Amar were chopping it up before we went on air. And one of the things that we discussed is if you look in the entire spectrum of Spider-Man, because he's his own universe in Marvel, you don't see any mention of the whole world knowing that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. You don't see that. So that would be for them to take that and allow that to continue to go forward, as we're going along, that would be a big stretch to me. So though having Doctor Strange, as we know he's able to do something like that, to make people forget, that seems like a good, plot that they could take, and then something happens that messes the process up. So I think, just on the surface, it makes a lot of sense because, like I said, I don't see nowhere in the comics where everybody in the world knows that this dude, Peter Parker, is Spider-Man. That's my take on it.
Absolutely. And definitely when it comes to that, I can't see it either. I don't see it. Just that doesn't line up with the canon. And I think a lot of the comic book heads won't appreciate that. And to Sean Rivers' question, he said, the dude that had the spider suit on, it's Tom Holland being a troll. You know what I'm saying? It's just basically him being a troll. Everybody wants to see all 3 Spider-Mans, Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, and Andrew Garfield. So everybody wants to see all 3 Spider-Mans in this movie, and we all think that they still will be, but we just don't know. Big G, what do you think about this plot leak? And then kind of introduce us to the similarities, to the differences in the other plot leak. But I think this is the major plot leak, but who knows?
Yeah, I can buy it. It would be something that I would buy because we've all been inquisitive about how the multiverse is going to work, especially with the whole thing of them keep dropping Easter eggs and little clues and hints through the Loki series. I saw a commercial the other day and they flat out said multiverse. So I was like, whoa, here we go. We're going to get the whole 9, so I'm feeling it. But the others leak that I heard changed the story a little different from what Mod was talking about. What I've read and what I've Easter egged or rabbit hole on is that they're going to tie Wanda directly into this. And what they're saying is that Wanda Maximoff, when she took the Darkhold from Agatha Harkness and now studying the Darkhold, she's now opened up parallel universes throughout the whole scenario because she's in search of her children. So because she thinks that her children are endangered and being hurt and taken. So by her doing this, Doctor Strange, because he's the Sorcerer Supreme, his responsibility is to protect our current reality. And what's happening is all these different realities are crashing in on our reality. And through that, the actual character of Norman Osborn is going to be introduced in our universe outside of being in a parallel universe. So Norman Osborn, like at the end of Spider-Man, when you said 1, 2, 3, 4, here we go, and there was an arrow pointing, and then he went through the old Tony Stark building, they're saying that's the Oscorp. And Norman Osborn is going to be the main character. And what he's done is through PIM technology, he's learned how to enter multiple ports of multiple universes, and he's going to draw evil characters out of each universe into our universe to try to basically take it over. So that's why we're going to get Rhino, Electro, Doc Ock, the Vulture, the Lizard. You're going to get all of the Sinister Six characters all combined into one, and Spider-Man's not going to be able to beat them all. So he's actually going to have to pull the multiple different Spider-Men from the other universes to try to beat all these different villains because they're all coming in to crash in to wipe Spider-Man out of existence. So if I'm hoping that it's sort of a combination between what Mod has read on the pot leak and me on the pot leak. I'm hoping. Because if it does, I'm telling you right now, that possibly could be, if it goes down like what
that's epic. That's epic.
The most popular Marvel movie of all time.
That's epic. That's epic. Yeah. Now, exactly what you said, G, it was right on my mind. Was what if it's a combination of both? Because we know Scarlet Witch is in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So if it goes down, I'm just telling y'all, this will be the best Marvel movie ever.
I'm sorry. She's in Doctor Strange's movie.
Yeah, we know Scarlet Witch is in Doctor Strange. We don't know for sure if she is in Spider-Man. There's been no mention of Elizabeth Olsen being in Spider-Man. So
correct.
That was my bad.
I mean, but no, Dane. You, hey, with all this stuff, I mean, we still got Mephisto showing up somewhere. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we listen. The where we're at right now, I just believe that it could be, but the easiest road sometimes is the road that Kevin Feige takes, and especially making sure that you have the comic book purists satisfied. Because I'm gonna tell you, it's real easy to get all of the comic book. I mean, G is our comic book aficionado for this station and Marvelous Talk. But there's some other fanatics, man. And if it didn't happen in the comic books, it had to happen. See, if you understand anything about comics, right? There are so many iterations of a different comic, right? Mm-hmm. Or a different character. So there's the Amazing Spider-Man. There's it's like 4 Spider-Man.
Spectacular Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Spider-Man Unlimited. There's multiple different Spider-Man.
So it's so many different so many different versions of your favorite character. So with that being said, right, you have to understand, without a shadow of a doubt, you have to kind of find one of those to where you draw the line at and say, okay, this is the line we're going to go down. And I don't believe Kevin Feige would leave Peter Parker out here, because in none of the comic books, the people know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yeah,
right?
True.
Yeah, so
true.
I don't believe that he let him out there. Now, making it be a combination of the two and using some of the material that we've already seen, he's gonna do it, right? But you just don't know what he's gonna use, right?
Right.
You don't know what he's gonna use. But you know,
damn, I got to tell y'all though, and I'm sort of buying the second one based on something that came out, actual Marvel headquarters. Marvel headquarters announced yesterday that the Fantastic Four is the last movie of Phase 4. They announced it yesterday. So if that's the case, look how far of a run we got from Phase 4. So they could set this thing up like we're talking about going into 2023, 2024. They could really blow this thing up out of proportion, man. So
well, you know,
that's why I'm buying it. You know,
they definitely resetting us to have the next big team up movie with everybody. And that you see how long it took them to do, you know, the one that we had with Endgame and Infinity War. So yeah, man, yeah,
definitely. Right. Which is fire, by the way. I mean, I can still go back and watch it and still get choked up at the same places. And he set the table to where you love the characters that you saw. Now, speaking of which, this was a perfect segue. You know, Thor just ended up taping. They just finished taping. And man, did you see Chris Hemsworth's arms?
Diesel.
Good
Diesel.
God.
He on steroids, man. He on steroids. I don't care what they lying. He's doing some enhancement. I don't care, man. I know bodybuilders professionally, like dudes that get it in every day in the gymnasium. They take all kind of stuff to cut their body up and whatever else. He looks like he gained about 40 pounds of pure muscle. His arms look like they're photoshopped. That's how big he is, man.
Do y'all know that after he's really intense about workouts from what I've heard. He's really intense. But do you know what he's playing after the Thor movie?
No.
He's going to be Hulk Hogan.
Oh.
He's going to be Hulk Hogan.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Right? So they're just wrapped up shooting, like you said. They're getting ready, I think, in a month to start on that Hulk Hogan movie, and he's going to be Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 32-inch pythons, 32 inch.
So he gotta have them arms. Hey, you're gonna be Hulk. You gotta have the arms.
He definitely got on the juice then to play Hulk Hogan. I mean, they got the right actor. They definitely got the right actor. But he's on the juice. You know, I don't know if he's gonna be able to do the Hulkster's persona. I mean, I don't know. That's gonna be interesting to see. That's definitely gonna be interesting to see. But he definitely has the physique. And it's already ready. I mean, the guy is huge. And I'm interested to see what we're going to get out of Thor Love and Thunder, man. I mean, you know, I'm super interested to see what we're going to get, man. But last but not least, I'm going to tell you, man, what we got coming on Wednesday. Are you guys ready, man? It seems like it's been forever. It seems like they just teased us and they held it back from us. I'm mad behind, you know, Black Widow, first and foremost. I mean, y'all could have been and gave us this movie. We could have been and had it, but y'all holding it back. It was supposed to come out before WandaVision was supposed to come out before Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Come on, man.
I think I'm telling y'all, I think there's a reason behind all of it. There's something because we've all I done pulled you guys down the rabbit hole with me with Black Widow. And it's like we done explored every little angle and cave and all whatever else. But I think it's something that we don't know that's big and why they keep holding it back. It's something. Because if the movie sucks, it's going to mess the whole MCU thing up. So the movie cannot be horrible. There's got to be something big. I don't know if it's going to be Red Hulk. It's something that we don't know or that we haven't figured out as a team. Or what's really going on with that, man? It's got to be because why else would they hold it back?
Hey, Big G, I could definitely agree that there's something that we're not seeing, you know, and I believe in Kevin Feige enough to know that, you know, this guy probably has held some stuff back. You know, he's a sluffer. He's a guy I wouldn't want to play spades with because he's definitely not going to be bidding his hands. You know what I'm saying? He's holding some sloughs back. You know what I'm saying?
He talking about 2 in a peaker and we got 10. Come on, man. No. We need the 10, man. Let's go.
It's like
I agree with what he said. I agree with what G said. There's something to it for them to have placed it positionally where it is. Of course, we know they want to get as much money, as they can off of it, but it's
But no, I believe you guys now. But here's the other thing: we're forgetting about COVID. COVID moved it back a lot, right?
Yeah.
And the theaters opening up, they want people back at the theater. That's why they did that run, that they did. But we know that it's also going to be available on Disney Plus, which is where I'm gonna watch it. Definitely. You guys, man, I just don't know. I feel like there's something that we don't know that's going to be in there, and probably they created an end scene that's phenomenal. Like they got a hidden credit that's going to probably rip us out the frame, and we're all going to be sitting here like can't believe it. But at the same time, I don't know, you guys. I'm just a little timid on that. But Loki Wednesday. Loki is on Wednesday. Yeah. Man, I am super stoked. It is about time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's about time. We have been sitting here waiting patiently. And, if it hadn't been for the NBA playoffs being so entertaining, man, I wouldn't have nothing to do. I'd read my Bible and go to church and go to work. That's it.
Hey,
I wouldn't have
what's interesting? What's interesting about Loki, man, I don't know if y'all noticed, but they really haven't been leaking a lot. They haven't been saying they show the same previews. If you notice, it's the same previews over and over again. So that's what I'm excited about, because I'm going into it, other than knowing just the little stuff that we know that we've talked about with the TVA and all this up. I have no idea where the direction or I'll just be guessing because I have no idea.
Yeah, Dane, to your point, I think they're recycling a lot of this information for commercials. They're recycling the same commercials over and over. And then they add a little something to it. They'll add another scene that we haven't seen, like, him kicking somebody out of what looks to be a door into some smoke and, popping his collar, doing some Loki stuff. But it hasn't, like the substance stuff, they haven't showed it all. Right.
Yeah.
So there's no substance or aha moment that I've been able to gain. What do you think about that, G? Have you been able to gain an aha moment at all?
Not really. It's just that from what they've shown so far, I think the theory that we talked about as far as a show, and then for all of our fans and stuff that's watching us with Marvelous Talk, we've been on this theory of variation time for months, and I think that what they're showing us is going to not just qualify, but quantify the information that we've been talking about for months. I really do believe that when I'm telling you they're going to go all in with this multiverse thing and multiple realities right in front of us and all whatever else, I think they're all in. And I believe that the Loki. Let me just say this: Kevin Feige and his team over at Disney and MCU are smart enough to know when to pull the plug on something, when the sequel stuff, when the prequel stuff. I mean, that not just based on them being part of the MCU, but they have a history. They got now a 10-year plus history of proving this to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they announced all these runs of Disney Plus shows that's going to be on TV. I mean, we've got shows that haven't even come out yet, Iron Wars and Moon Knight and She-Hulk, but we know about them. Miss Marvel, we know that these are going to be television shows. Why is Loki the only television show that's already been announced for 2 seasons? They've already said it. They've already locked into it, and they said Loki gonna have 2 seasons. So if that's the case, that's telling me that Loki is the pivotal thing for this whole phase 4. We're going to get a Loki in 2021, and then we're going to turn around and get a Loki in 2022. So that means that they have so much content that's going to tie to everything else that they got to give us 2 seasons. That's what that means.
Absolutely, Dame. I feel the same way, man. I mean, when it comes down to it, bro, there's so many different ways that you can go. And so, think about it, the timeline was crushed by what the Avengers did. They went back and reversed time. So it was crushed. And if we, I mean, I've showed this before on Marvelous Talk, and also I showed it on our TikTok. So if you're not a TikTok subscriber, you probably need to go to our TikTok. But I showed it on TikTok where the Ancient One was talking about the timeline. And she said that the minute the stones leave the timeline, that timeline is thrown into chaos.
Correct.
So guess what? All 5 stones were taken and thrown at the same time. So that means they were vacated, and you have all these different timelines going everywhere. So I believe, and I don't know this for sure, but I believe that at some point, what Loki is going to do is kind of explain what happened to our universe.
Yeah. Yep.
The TVA, I think is going to give us an education. They're going to let us know.
Right. And we already know, like I said, you know, Kang's already been announced for Quantumania. I mean, we know there's a lot of stuff that's going on as far as this timeline stuff and this multiverse stuff. So I think that, you know, like how we can't get a tell on Kevin Feige. If we were playing poker, we can't get a tell on him. I think this is the first tell that Kevin Feige's done given us probably throughout his whole existence of the MCU. He's telling y'all he's all in on this multiverse, Nexus being, multiple realities. He's all in there. He's done bought all in because Phase 4 is really all about it. Phase 4, everything that's dropping is really all about different stuff. I mean, he's even all the way rewinding it back with the Eternals, man. He rewinded the tape with us on the Eternals. So it's going to be a lot of stuff, man. A lot, you know. So, but Loki, I'm hyped.
Oh yeah.
I'm ready.
Well, like Amar said, man, we've had a good deficit of stuff that, you know, they could throw in Howard the Duck, and I'd get excited.
Yes, sir.
Howard the Duck, bro. Howard the Duck. That's
hey, man,
crazy.
Howard the Duck is a Marvel character, bro.
I know, but I'm just saying, it's crazy that you even went there with me, man. Howard the Duck. It's just unbelievable, man. Well, listen, you guys, of course, man, listen, we've had great fun here just sitting, talking about the Marvel MCU. And guess what, man? Guess what? We got Loki on Wednesday. Man, I don't know if we're going to be able to wait for a whole week to do a show, man. I just feel like we're going to have to discuss it. We're going to have to jump back in the trenches and get on it, man, have a midweek discussion about this version of Loki, because I'm so excited to see what this thing going to be about, man.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited, man.
Yeah, man, most definitely.
Yeah, so listen, until next week, until we see y'all again, whenever that gonna be, because we may, you know, pop up on y'all. Make sure you tune in, you like and subscribe to the channel. But it's your boys, Mod, Big G, and Dane for Marvelous Talk. We out, man. See you next week.
Yeah.